Hey there! The Whole Half-Life is a website all about Half-Life, also very much about modding and creating maps for any of the games. Mostly Half-Life 1 though. Occasionally, tower events get hosted here, in which many mappers come together to create levels that are all set within the same tower. Outside of a few basic rules, mappers are allowed to do whatever they want in these projects. There are 2 of them for Half-Life 1 and just about a month ago, one released for Half-Life 2, the Whole Half-Life Tower Source. I'm gonna be going through every single level, summarize, review and analyze them, and then put them into a tier list ranging from S tier to D tier. Let's get right into it. Wait, what's that sound? Is that the sponsor of this video? This video is sponsored by World of Tanks. World of Tanks is the best free-to-play PC game for everyone that loves action-filled combat that is also historically accurate. Join the community of 100 million global players that all share your passion in massive battles. Be that by sneaking through forests, rolling across fields, tearing across deserts or causing havoc in industrial and urban zones. You can rally your teammates and devise a battle plan to destroy the competition over 40 unique battle arenas. With over 800 different tanks, there's always a new way to play. You can drive tank destroyers, artillery, light, medium and heavy tanks and Russian guns blazing, ambush your opponents with sneaky tactics, hang back and take them out from afar or whatever else you come up with. How you play is up to you. World of Tanks focuses heavily on historical accuracy and inspiration, which means that with each vehicle you pick you experience authentic models and vehicle characteristics that make you feel like a real tank commander. Earn experience, modify and upgrade your tank to create the ultimate beast of a machine that is ready for any challenge. You can download World of Tanks using the first link in the description. And if you're a new player, you can use the invite code COMBACK to receive 7 days of premium access, 250,000 credits, the premium tank Chrome will be, and 3 rental tanks for 10 battles each, Tiger 131, T78 and Type 64. If you're a returning player, you'll get 3 days of premium access, the 2D style bargain camouflage, 7 days rental of premium tank Centurion MK51 RAAC, or 100k credit compensation if you already have this tank in your garage. So what are you waiting for? Go download World of Tanks using my link now and join the battle. So the mod starts off with a map made by the team behind the project. To be exact, one made by Dr. Orange. I will be judging this map and putting it in the tier list like I will do with every other map in this mod, even though it doesn't follow the same limitations as others. Oddly enough, this mod features HUD hints like those of Left 4 Dead 2, which was made possible thanks to Mapbase, a popular community-made tool among Half-Life 2 mappers. It adds a countless amount of new features for mappers to play around with, these HUD hints being one of them. Anyways, you can disable these hints in the settings, same with these glowing item hints, which is always great to see. We meet this guy here, Irby, a fully custom model, which is a refreshing sight. He's also completely voiced. He introduces the tiny amount of story this mod has, which there truly is no reason to try and fit law into this mod, as you'll see later. Basically, this 18-story tower used to be a resistance outpost. They lost contact some time ago and suspect it has been taken over by the Combine. Our job is to get in the tower and fight any survivors and take out any Combine presence. He then tells us that we have to sneak around the building past some turrets, enter the garage and allow him access. We find the next room heavily trapped, which proves only a tiny challenge. We find a Combine terminal, find out the code to access the tower, to which Combine comes storming in. We take them out in some nicely designed combat arenas. Plenty cover for both enemies and us. Irby also has some custom voice lines in fighting.
Yeah, nice one!
We see this sign in the lobby, which tells us what the floors are called and who they were made by. Oh god, what does this mean? We then receive access to the stairwell. Here's another fun thing about this mod. On this table near the end you find a Half-Life disc. One can be found on every map. If you are able to find all of them, you can unlock some bonus content, which I'll go over later. There's also an achievement tied to it, of which many exist, many of them being custom made for the specific maps. After this we gain access to the second map. Before we do that though, let's rate this one. I think this map was pretty well made. The custom companion, the turret section at the beginning and the combat indoors made for a solid start. But I also wasn't completely blown away by it. It would also be unfair to give one of the only maps not bound by the boundaries of this competition S tier. Thus, I will be putting it in A tier. Just to note, the tier list is obviously subjective. You may like any map more than I do for whatever reason. Perhaps you enjoy things that I don't. That's fine, and I'll link the tier list in the description in case any of you want to make your own. Which is the perfect time for me to plug the disc. Come join the Discord. You receive announcements on new videos and other events, and you can share your own tier list you made with others there. Thanks. Before starting the second map, we walk through a Security Scan 4.0. Basically, it's the emancipation fields for Portal. We will walk through one of these at the end of every map, as to ensure that all of them fit together, in that you start with nothing but 100 HP and 0 suit. And in case you're wondering what limits the map has had, the skybox was pre-made so that every view outside the tower looked the same. The map size was limited and the stairwell has to be included every time. Outside of that, no limits. The second floor is called Not Quite Halo by Nova Delta. We immediately get spoken to by a random person, who tells us about calibrating our HGV suit, which we do and charge it up. I must say the voice acting was quite alright. I also appreciate the effort of actually animating the person speaking. But overall, unless I'm missing something, this map doesn't have a whole bunch to offer outside of this. And the level design wasn't mind-blowing either. So I'm gonna give this one a C. A solid C though. The third floor is called Water Reservoir and was made by Kuta Kun. The direct path to the stairs is blocked by fire. Not to be too mean, but this is very obviously someone's first attempt at that map. The dead giveaway is the fact that these platforms you have to jump on are made with the texture that you have selected by default in the hammer editor. If that isn't enough, consider the tons of combine soldiers that get spawned with absolutely no cover, a wall in the middle that moves up and down for no reason, and the fact that only about a total of 10 brushes were placed in this entire map. I did like the fact that this map has a balcony that you can actually already see from the intro area. That's attention to detail right there. But yeah, overall this is a D. The map is rather rough, but so were my early maps. I mean, I made a whole video about how shit mine were. I bet you Bradman's first projects were shit as well, and he ended up creating Entropy 02. So I urge the person that made this map to keep on mapping it to hopefully make masterpieces someday. The fourth map is called The Cleanup by T-Mob. You are met by a locked door and then move into a secret hideout of someone who tells you that the base is overrun by Combine using reused voice lines, as is common in lots of Half-Life mods. The base in question appears to be some kind of Zen lab, something you might see in a Black Mesa setting. I appreciate the fact that they made most out of the tight space they were given. They even made use of the height of the given boundaries to make this map 2 stories. This does lead to some mazy design, but it's manageable. Looks-wise, it's rather basic, with all the lighting being just white. Some variants in color would have made this a lot more interesting visually. I also can't help but notice the Gmod vibe this level has, with which I mean that there are tons and tons of props everywhere on rather blocky environments. It reminds me of DarkRP bases. At the end you receive a key with a bright marking over it. And with tons of locked doors being placed around the level, you might have forgotten the padlock door at the beginning that this key is meant for. The guy from the start also follows us, only to the point where he dies at the Emancipator. A nice gag I thought. Overall I'm gonna give this one a C. I had fun with it. The fifth map is called Biohazard by GravityCat. From the staircase alone you can already tell that this map has a unique style to it. Entering the room, you hear a radio speak to you. Now first, slight critique. Something that happens with way too many mods. The voice acting in this one is way too quiet. I'm never quite sure how this goes past playtesting. Basically, any sound of the environment completely drowned out the radio voice.
It doesn't matter. There's an outbreak of lethal virus on that floor.
What they're basically saying is that this place is contaminated, and that we need to enable scanners so that they can do further testing on whatever may have spread here. This level is definitely the most beautiful one up until this point. I mean, look at this. Parallax corrected reflections. But also just the overall vibe is great. Your movement here is limited. You can't sprint, crouch or jump. I at first expected some horror elements to be implemented here, though said horror elements stayed limited to the atmosphere. After walking around and enabling all the scanners, another radio thanks you and disengages the lockdown so that you can exit. If I had to rate this level purely for its aesthetics, it would be an S tier. Gameplay wise it was rather boring, but it didn't attempt to be more than what it set out to be, a good looking level. I also like the implied lore that comes with the contamination, so many unanswered questions. I really like the looks, but taking the whole package, I'm gonna give it a strong B. By the way, this map has a sequel in the bonus maps, which we'll get to later. The sixth map is called Warp Complex by Dr. Orange, the same person that made the introduction level. This one starts out with you receiving the gravity gun and seeing G-Man. You also see a teleporter similar to Dr. Kleiner's. Once you enable it, a portal appears, which teleports you to where G-Man was previously. We find more teleporters, which lead to us slowly upgrading our arsenal, as the game turns into somewhat of an arcade, even giving us an amount of enemies we have to kill at one point. We also receive the cut Slam weapon of Half-Life 2, which Mapbase makes possible. You also get a great opportunity to use it, as once you disable the force field for the staircase, you can see Command approaching towards your room. A reference to the teleport puzzle of Half-Life 1 gets added, though instead of going the correct path, you will probably want to go all the incorrect ways first in order to receive more weapons or also find the Half-Life disc. After this you backtrack and can move to the next level. This map has thus far been my favorite. Though the looks of Biohazard weren't quite met here, the gameplay made up for it. This one gets a strong A. The seventh map is called Joker's Mind by Kriegmorder. The path is blocked by fire and at first you think this is just someone's first map. Turns out it's worse than that. It's someone's attempt to ruin the fun you've been having by just creating a gigantic dark maze. Respectfully, this map. At least they were nice enough to put the disc at the end. D tier. All the good fun of course to not send hate to Kriegmorder for a bit of trolling. We love a bit of trolling. Also you may notice when you look out of the window that time has actually passed, which is a nice detail. I also love how you can actually see your progress as you slowly ascend the tower and are able to see more of the surrounding city. The eighth map is called the Develoseum by cambreaKer, a person who's credited with helping finish this mod and who also made this mod's trailer. This one starts out with someone stuck inside a crate telling us that this is Valve's Develoseum and that we need to steal the Half-Life 2 beta disc out of there, which we go ahead and do. Overall this level is pretty funny and also well made. Some funky ragdoll action happens to enemies once they are game ended, which may be unrealistic but is fun to look at. There are tons of inside jokes included in this map, and it also has by far the most annoying Half-Life disc placement. I eventually opted to decompiling the map to figure out what I had to do. I'll give you a hint, this guy is involved. I also really liked how there were many windows placed around the map. It looks nice. At the end we steal the disc, fight our way back and the guy jumps out of his crate and opens a path for us, after which he gets killed. Rest in peace. Overall this map gets an A. I would say there may have been S potential, but that damn disc placement almost ended you up in B tier instead. The ninth map is called Mystery Floor by Q0. This one consists of many rooms where you have to figure out a 4-digit code. I suck at braining, so I was struggling, but overall it was neatly made, and also played a custom soundtrack that added an interesting ambient. Overall, for my personal taste, it would be a C tier, but I'm gonna put personal biases aside and give it a good B tier, because it did well in what it set out to do, and some of the puzzles were rather clever. The 10th map is called Cyber Trauma by Shoes1085. This one surprised me, not only by someone knowing my name in the intro, which is probably just a Mapbase feature, but also because of how interesting it looked. It looked like a completely different game, but also like Half-Life somehow. It was a mixed aesthetic, a beautiful one at that. The level made great use of the space, including both many rooms and hallways and also vents to climb around in. There's no story to this map. You eventually get your hands on the gravity gun and then fight a bunch of hunters using the tons of cabinets placed around the map. These not only fit into the aesthetic, but were very useful in gameplay. Great level design. We eventually make our way back and make it to the next level. My only slight critique would be that it gets a bit mazy at times, especially in the event sections, but I will not shy away from giving this one S tier. A great map. The 11th map is called Hazardous Workplace by Shambles. If you're a fan of this channel, I hope you've played the mod Research and Development before. A total 10 out of 10 mod that focuses almost solely on puzzles. It's in the Hall of Fame of mod without a question, and I should really do a full video on it. Basically, see this mod as a mini version of that, not that it copies any puzzles. It comes up with its own ones, but the general vibe and the style of puzzles is very similar, which is a good thing. Consistent level design with clever puzzles and a solid atmosphere. I'm gonna be nitpicky. At the end, the solution to backtrack is just using the props there to climb over the walls, which I thought was a little unintuitive. Also, I think that these buttons that disable this laser could have been indicated in a better way than to just flash a text on screen. Perhaps connect them using a wire and have a bar of sprites counting the time down. But that's of course nitpick. I overall really enjoyed my time with this one, even if it was rather short. I was debating if this one is an A or S tier, but I decided to give it an S tier because of its uniqueness, but a lower one. The 12th map is called Stopped Again by Generic. The path is blocked by a common wall. This level looks really nice. It looks like a doctor's office. The fact that it's this high up helps with that vibe, like a late visit to the doctors as a child. You rather quickly find a shotgun and crowbar, to which might come and storm you. This office type area makes for a good arena, and the tons of glass panes add nicely to it. Love destroying stuff. You eventually find a prisoner who, once you free him, is able to pick up a weapon of his own and fight alongside you on the way back. You even get an achievement if you manage to bring him back all the way. I have no complaints about this entry, but it also stuck to the safe bet. Looks-wise this is an S. But in general I'm gonna give this one A tier, right below the introduction level. Which is somewhat unfair given that the introductory level had more liberties, but the world itself is also unfair, so what? The 13th map is by Aqualuzara. At first it seems like this map has nothing to it, and you just get to leave immediately. But then a wall of pixels appears. Once you head back, the wall of pixels follows and traps you in closer and closer until the door opens and traps you in a dark world. You're awake again in a rundown apartment. Mysterious ambient music starts to play. It's both a calm and also creepy vibe. The first half of this map is incredibly Gmod horror map coded. The second half becomes more surreal. The puzzles are clever and specifically break the fourth wall at some points. Since all of this is just puzzles and a mysterious story, I don't really want to spoil it anymore. In conclusion, this map had a great unique vibe, but I also can claim to not have seen similar before and things like Jastronauts are similar. It's a good map, but it also didn't go too ambitious. I think if there was one more main puzzle included, I would have given it an A. For now, it would be snuck nicely in B tier. Great quality for what it did, but it didn't do that much. The 14th map is Watermelons in Jail by Jinx Wasn't Taken. This map is again a very obvious first or maybe second attempt at a map. There's something fascinating about them. The tons of bad practices, genuine wonder as to what they could have been planning, and also why they didn't just move this vent prop more into the middle. You will find 69 watermelons in this map, which I know because you get an achievement for destroying all of them. Aside from that, you move into this house, press a button, get the hard drive disk in the jail that has a guy inside that you can't free by the way, and then you get to leave. With peace and love, this is a D tier. Hope you stay at it though Jinx Wasn't Taken. The source mapping community will welcome you with open arms. The 15th map is Caution Biological Hazard by Shoes1085. Who also made Cyber Trauma. This map is insane. Once you enter, you switch to flawless Resident Evil style gameplay. This level also manages to feel like twice as big as all the others somehow. This is the best use of the space and also the most creative one, with varying room heights, beautiful looks and backtracking in clever ways like we have not yet seen in this mod. I seriously don't know how this was even done in Source. Even better, later on you pick up a shotgun and switch to normal gameplay and get to explore the same level in first person, which is also just flawless gameplay. The shotgun also serves as a melee at the same time. This map is just absolutely incredible. This is the best thing I have seen in Source and a huge while. When it comes to ranking, bit of insider info, I am writing the script as I'm playing these mods. Thus I had no idea this map existed when I wrote the script for even the previous entry. Thus such great of an entry comes unexpected, which is why I will introduce the S+ category. That is only reserved for this map as of now, because seriously there's no competing with this level of quality. What an awesome map. Hats off to you Shoes1085. Also, if you're already making adjustments, let's move Joker's Might. The 16th map is Barrelscape by Scully. Sorry that you have to follow that last map, Scully. But actually, this map was fun. It revolves around exploding barrels, and you're basically an OP explosive barrel flinger in an arena filled with respawning explosive barrels as you fight against hordes of enemies that conclude with a unique boss fight. There's also some superb voice acting in this, even if it's only a tiny bit. This one gets top of B tier, which mainly comes from its unique idea and also because I really like how the aesthetics and specifically the colors were focused around the explosive barrel prop. The 17th map is Fallen Angel by Xenos22, someone who's credited with helping to push this mod to release alongside cambreaKer and Maestro Phoenix. This one warns you that it will take a while and consists only of storytelling. It even includes a skip button if you wish to rather just continue. If you really think you can't bear 20 minutes of storytelling that mostly consists of reading subtitles, I'd say go ahead. Otherwise, I heavily encourage playing this level. It tells a tragic story of a robot girl who has been stuck here for an unknown amount of time. Featured are mostly PS1 style aesthetics mixed with some Source lighting. Basically, this seems like a game Pyrocynical would cover in a 5-hour long video. It's a beautiful story that I don't think deserves to be summarized by a German idiot just right now though. Especially not in this format. I heavily respect all the custom animated props that mostly regard the robot girl. One thing I criticize is how slow it feels. I get that with characters that only speak using subtitles it's a lose-lose game. You either have them on screen for too short or too long. In this case it feels too long. Which, if I have to choose between the two, this is the preferred one. I'm not sure how this could be implemented, but perhaps something like a skip current text button would have been nice. Still, I hate to rate this on this tier list because it feels like I'm rating a poem amongst Half-Life maps. It doesn't really fit in. Which is why I'll just take a very mechanical approach. Gameplay-wise, it's C. Looks-wise, it's unique and high effort, with all the custom props and animations, and thus probably an A. Story-wise, it's S tier, S+ even. If we add this together and average it out, it sits just about at A tier. Overall, a very good and beautiful map. Also not something for everyone though. We arrive at the final entry. Executive Offices by Dr. Orange, the same person who made the intro and the Warp Complex map, and also the whole mod from all I can tell. This map serves as the outro, though I'll still rate it as a usual one. This map feels a lot like a Left 4 Dead level, specifically the No Mercy finale. Looks-wise it's very well made and looks similar to the first map. By now it has become nighttime and a thunderstorm starts. Very cozy weather if you ask me. We then fill up a generator to an escape door using 4 cans placed around the map. After each can, more zombies spawn. After this we arrive on the roof where we meet Irby again. He knows that he got the lift working, and also that he found tons of biohazardous material in there, a clear reference to the map Biohazard. He tells us that what we did here pissed off the Combine, and that they're sending in reinforcements now. We can now stock up, set up traps, and then call in the chopper. This is very similar to No Mercy from Left 4 Dead, which isn't a bad thing. This section proves very fun. Tons of fights against varied enemies across a well-designed arena. Eventually, just before the chopper arrives, a gunship starts to follow it. The chopper drops off an RPG, with which we proceed to kill the gunship. After this we get extracted. Depending on how many CDs you collected, you will hear different voice lines. I for one collected all. Not flexing of course. Collecting more than 6 will load you straight into a bonus map. I will cover the bonus maps after rating the finale. The finale is very solid, A tier. Let's speedrun the bonus maps. The Arena, the first bonus map made by Dr. Orange, in which you fight through enemies in wave-style combat with a dynamic arena. And as you beat types of enemies you unlock more variants, including some funny ones. If you collected more discs you gain perks for specific fights, which I'll leave for you to find yourself. Biohazard 2 is a sequel to Biohazard, the map made by Gravity Cat. It's very similar in gameplay, only that you now have a limited amount of oxygen. It's a very beautiful level, and I think the original should have featured a time running out mechanic as well. There's Joker's Mind original version by Kriegmorder, which I played in its entirety, but I didn't realize any changes aside from the layout maybe. Still hate it. Experimented by cambreaKer, who also made the Develoseum. It's the most unique of the bonus maps. It's not related to their previous entry, and it bears resemblance to Fallen Angel in aspects. It's a map telling a mysterious story of waking up in a lab that also features combat. Good map. Mystery Floor original version by Q0 is the same 4-digit code puzzle map with one different puzzle and other slight adjustments. In general the bonus maps are fun, aside from Joker's Mind. Fuck that map. So I know that this is the full tier list, but fun fact, this was the original one, but I forced myself to be a bit more harsh for the purpose of this video. So yeah, link for the tier list is in the description. I heavily encourage playing this mod and making your own tier list and talking about it in my Discord. Remember to check out World of Tanks using the first link in the description and make sure to use code COMBAT to receive all the great perks you see on screen right now. Thank you to World of Tanks once more for sponsoring this video. This video was really fun to make, and there are tons of similar community projects like this one out there. So I would love to hear feedback on this video in the comments, if this is perhaps something you guys want to see more regularly. Huge thanks to Dr. Orange, cambreaKer, Master Phoenix and Xenos22 for putting this awesome project together, and to all the people that submitted the map. Yes, even you, Kriegmorder. If I have the time when it happens, I would love to submit something for the whole Half-Life Tower Source Part 2 as well. So yeah, otherwise, thank you for watching.
Dr. Kleiner, Dr. Kleiner got some 80-inch